Welcome to the AmRisc podcast. Join us as we go beyond underwriting to discover more about our people, culture, and history.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 3 of the AmRisc podcast. We're sitting down with Christian Medina, Deandra Lopez, and Cynthia Igbinovia. We're going to be going over a couple questions about the EDGE program. Christian, you want to start us off?
Yeah, this is part 1 of relationships, and what our goal of this episode is to promote the EDGE program and foster relationships within the AmRisc group. So I'll start off this first question with Deandra. Why did you join the EDGE program?
Well, initially when it first rolled out, which I guess this will be its 3rd round, if you will, and I was in the first group, and it was still very new and kind of a pilot program and such. And so truthfully, when I got in, I thought it was initially more of a, I guess, to kind of sharpen up, like have a mentor to kind of go through like technical skills and such, and like learning the model and learning things a little bit, all the questions that you don't ask, but you want to kind of think because you feel stupid sometimes. But, so I kind of thought it was initially that. Then I guess kind of doing a little bit more research, kind of learning that it really was a little bit more, and kind of working on like your own development within the company and kind of your own professional development, and having somebody to kind of guide you through that with their own personal experience that they've had and such. So that just seemed like a good opportunity. And who doesn't need a little help sometimes, or somebody to guide you through?
Yeah, we actually spoke to Gordon Forbes, just kind of questioning what this kind of encompasses. And he said it's not really focused on underwriting only, but it's more for like career goals. If you have a mentor for like outside of work, what would you go to them for life advice, whether it be for work or life? It's a mentor. It can be for many reasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely not just underwriter training, which I thought it was until I spoke to Gordon Forbes about it. Cynthia, do you want to tell us how the program really works and what's all involved with it?
How it works. Initially, we spend time talking to our paired groups. I would start off by saying the leaders, they actually pair everyone, and I'm not involved in the pairing process. The leaders, they do the pairing of the individuals, the mentee and the mentor. And then once they're selected, each of the paired people, we spend time talking to one another and getting to understand what their goals are, getting to understand their background, and getting to understand the person. And from there, we set goals. And what I had done in the past, I put all of those goals on a calendar invite. And we would add more information from there on those invites, and we would just start having conversations on a bi-monthly or monthly basis.
Okay, gotcha.
And I was involved in the program for when it started, and then the second year.
Nice. So there really is no stipulation of who gets paired up with who?
No. Well, now that I'm on the committee, so I kind of have a little bit more insight. Before I thought it was just kind of blindly paired. But now I think the intent is to pair you with somebody that's not in your realm, if you will. Like, I'm a condo person, so I'm not going to get paired with somebody that's in the condo world, but rather somebody that's in, whether it's national accounts or just a totally different occupancy, or they are a CUO or in claims, or they're in some, different capacity, because it kind of gives you a different perspective of, number one, what they do. You don't report to them. Yeah. They're not involved in your day to day, and they want to keep a level of like being able to confide in somebody. And this isn't like your manager.
So you don't just get like tunnel vision.
Right. Absolutely. That doesn't just see condos or whatever you work on in that I guess on your day to day. So that's what kind of makes it nice, is that it's somebody that's got a doesn't really even know what your day to day is, and it's pretty refreshing to be able to have an ear that's dedicated just to you, that sees, I guess, with no, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, what's that?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
But I mean, like, that isn't, that doesn't know your world and you don't necessarily know theirs. So it is a fresh perspective.
I think that's good because it helps build more relationships within the company as opposed to like what you said. If you're talking to your team manager, you're like, can I really talk to them about anything?
Exactly.
So I see what you're saying.
Just kind of to get camaraderie going. Cynthia, how does being a mentor work? Or is there anything you want to add about being a mentor?
Well, I was mentored long ago, and I can still remember the people that did it and that helped me, because we all need that type of guidance. Although the program wasn't called mentoring, this is the first time I've been involved in something called mentoring, which is interesting. But I was mentored as a young insurance professional, but it was actually called underwriting training. So they were training me how to do the work, but the people that trained me also tried to mold me into a better professional. So I think that part of it was the mentoring aspect, which, you can still use those things today.
I think that's good because you can now kind of like translate what you took away from all of that into what you're doing as a mentor.
Exactly. So I just remember, people have helped me. So I thought it's fun, exciting to help others, because a lot of young people, they need training and help, and they need to talk to someone outside of their unit.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we can say 9 out of 10 UAs want to be an underwriter one day, or higher than they are now. This next question is for both of you ladies. What did you guys learn and how did it help your day-to-day experience?
I think it really helped me kind of take more of a look as to what I wanted to do here within the company, or just moving. And I guess I kind of always have the thought, at least in like previous jobs that I've had at different companies I've worked with, that like, if I don't have any reason to want to grow with the company or be promoted or whatever, then something's wrong, and I think sometimes here at AmRisc, for the most part, everybody's either a UA or an underwriter. And so it's a little trickier, I think, sometimes in growing, because you kind of see, well, do you want to be a team manager? The growth steps are not as, I guess, broad than you see at other companies and the potential and stuff. But so it was kind of cool to be able to, I guess, have somebody to kind of think about, other potential roles, or like, where would I fit in 5 years, or, as a long-term growth within the company, that I probably didn't have that vision or know what was possible, and such. And I mean, I'm still an underwriter, but I mean, at least I have more goals and kind of know where I'm headed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you get a plan for once you get underwriter. You don't just sit there twiddling your thumbs.
Exactly.
What about you, Cynthia?
I learned, first of all, I should say that, I sit in the Dallas office. And I started with the company 3 years ago. So the first year I did come into the office on a monthly basis. And then for 2 years, we didn't come in because of COVID. So having the two mentees actually enabled me to connect with other people in 2 different departments and get to know them, which you cannot do while you're in Dallas. So I enjoyed that part of it, because I'm a people person, and it enabled me to learn about the other departments and their business strategies, because it's certainly different than the technical risk department where I work now. So that's the part that I really enjoyed, having a different contact and understanding their business flow and how they work. So I got a lot out of that because of that, because they do connect you with people in different areas.
Perfect. Well, ladies, whoever wants to answer this, please jump in. Who is eligible for the EDGE program?
So for mentors, it's, for mentees, I even wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I had it correct. For mentees, you're looking to be an underwriter, anybody in corporate or claims management is eligible. I'm also looking for 4 years of industry experience, or at least 2 years here at AmRisc, which I think is good because you kind of need to know how things run here. And for mentors, they're looking for underwriter supervisors, senior underwriters, team managers, and up, basically. And the requirement for both is also just to be within good standing within the company. So
I really like the EDGE program because you can really collide with each other. You get ideas from a mentee while you're a mentor, so it's kind of mentoring both ways in my eyes. Christian, do you have another question?
So there are 4 letters in EDGE: engage, develop, guide, and equip. Which word helped you the most in your professional life?
Being a mentor, I wanted to engage with others and to help them to become more equipped and to guide them. So I guess those 4 words actually, they apply differently for a mentor or mentee. What I got out of it was the engaging part, just engaging with new people. And then by working through their goals, I helped to guide them and equip them to do better with whatever their goals were.
And you're helping develop that person as well as yourself.
well, and the develop is also kind of helping develop just the professional relationships with other people, which I think right now where everybody's remote and kind of away from each other, it's kind of crazy when you get on some of these like town hall meetings or some of these meetings and you start seeing the names and you're like, who are they? Or when they send out the email of like the new hires and such and, kind of knowing. But I think that's kind of, I think there's the initiative of getting people back in the office, but I don't think it's going to be where we were and such. And so getting to know people within the company and establishing those professional relationships with people, all around in different departments and divisions and stuff, I think is going to be so important. Otherwise, I guess I always have that fear of out of sight, out of mind. So I think it's such a good opportunity to do that because within the program, you are exposed to a lot of the people in senior management and executive management and such, and have an opportunity to kind of ask questions and things of that sort. When again, we're all in this remote that opportunity is not really there anymore. Whereas they always had an open door policy and you could always go, pop your head into John Horton's office or somebody's office, and go do that. And they were always receptive to your questions. But it's so much harder now to be able to do that. And so I think that's what has made this such a good opportunity for people, at least on the mentee side. I speak for the mentee because I haven't been a mentor.
And even with this remote environment and new hires coming in, this really helps them to interact with what we do here. It's customer service and you really need to know how to do these things. I think that having a mentor can do that even without being face-to-face.
Absolutely.
So for the listeners, what kind of commitment is required for someone to be a mentee? I obviously know you have to put the time in, but is there like a requirement for the time? How does that work?
It all depends on the goals of the person and what they want to achieve. I think the time commitment initially, I think I spoke to the people twice a month for about an hour each time. And then we, after a couple months, we moved on to just a monthly meeting and updating our goals. But it depends on what they wanted to achieve. Because I know some people in the program, they went very far and they were introduced to a lot of people. And then they eventually did they did one of our Shark Tank events.
Oh,
Yeah. So that required a whole lot more time. So I wasn't involved in that. So I guess it all depends on the person and their goals that they set up.
Do you have anything you want to add to that one, Deandra?
Well, I think in the guidelines or in the initial stuff, it pretty much says you have to be willing to meet, I guess, a minimum of at least once a month. So at least to be open to that. But yeah, as Cynthia said, I think it's really what your individual goals are. also taking into consideration our busy season and stuff like that, that sometimes you won't maybe meet as frequent or be available to. And then there's also different, what do they call it? I guess EDGE events that are led through kind of on talking about the different aspects of the program and kind of topics to kind of go through and to talk about with your mentor and mentee kind of conversations and stuff. And so those are group led, as well as talks with individual talks with, not individual one-on-one, but with senior management. So there's different things that are also set, but those usually aren't more than once a month than that. So it's not a huge time commitment, but I guess again, it's what you want out of it and how much time you're willing to put into it.
So what you put in is what you get out.
Exactly.
So, if you were to talk to your listeners, what would you say to someone who is on the fence about joining?
I think it's an excellent opportunity to pair yourself with a senior individual to learn how to position yourself for growth within the company. And you get a lot of private information from an individual that's not shared with others. You get some personal critiques, and you get a lot of different resources from an individual that you wouldn't normally get unless you were heavily connected with someone else in the company. So I think it's a great opportunity for people to pair up and learn from others, especially the senior people. I mean, I've done this for a very, very long time. So I think insurance is not taught in our industries very much. And you really have to pair up with people to learn the day-to-day information, especially being so far remote that we are now and so far removed from an office where you don't have people to talk to all the time. You really do need some professional guidance.
I think it's great because it gives some inclusion for those who maybe feel they don't contribute much to the company in their day-to-day work. Being able to be involved with senior management gives them a sense of being part of the company.
For sure. I think it's just a good opportunity to be able to, I mean, I've been doing insurance since, 2005. Nice. And it's never ending. Like you learn something every day, if not multiple things. Yeah. It's never ending with hypothetical questions and everything else that's thrown at you. But it's not even, again, it wasn't about like the technical portion of insurance or even of this job, but just really being able to have somebody has years of experience ahead of you or has just been in a different role than you and to kind of help you think outside the box of your everyday box that, we're all so busy with, and kind of see what you want and what your potential could be. And to have, as Cynthia said, somebody to just kind of bounce stuff off of and have like that one-on-one time that it's hard to get that. I mean, even when we were in the office, it's hard to get that but somebody that just has so much more experience and, to be able to give you, their wisdom and what they can kind of pass along to you and what can help you down the road.
Well, thank you again, ladies, for joining us on our podcast today. This program is definitely something that I look forward to utilizing when I become an underwriter one day. It's truly been a pleasure. For everyone listening, this has been Cynthia Igbinovia and Deandra Lopez with Christian Medina and myself, Connor Fleury. Be sure to join us on the next episode where we interview John Horton on the Elite Producer Program and Top Gun Awards.